Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, August 1st, 2021, first day of August. And this talk is about quality, safety, and of course, some little mixture of COVID 19 and total title being civil field engineering or field engineering, you can say, quality and next SL, COVID 19, safety, health, and environment, engineer's role, designs, construction, communications, coordination, and why should we be behind quality, which is a question mark for our country at least, if not others. And I think you enjoy this talk because this is very much important to your life. It is a test with everybody. Quality cannot be isolated. Quality cannot be isolated. Certifications are with everybody. Some kind of certification, professional certification otherwise, and we have to respect that one. By our goal, our ambition, this should be quality, safety, health, environment. Because these sub-disciplines, or you can say supporting disciplines, or you can say integrated disciplines in work are required everywhere. Quality and safety, health and environment cannot be isolated from whatever work we do. It may be engineering work or it may be non-engineering work. It may be whatever level of work in our life structure. We cannot avoid these two requirements. We may know it, we may not know it, but we can't avoid them. Quality and safety disciplines. We have to use ergonomics, power of ergonomics for that. And these are required, even if you like it, don't like it, these are required everywhere. You can say it's a kind of automatic mandate, quality and safety. If you do against them, if you contravene these requirements, you have to suffer somewhere throughout process of manufacturing, process of industrial activities, process of construction, and whatever you do, you may be doing some in between sandwiched work. You may be handling material, you may be transporting material, or you may be dealing some other kind of non-work activities at home. These are essential parts. Maybe you can understand them or cannot understand them, or you can ignore them. You may be traveling, you may be walking. These at least safety applies everywhere. Safety cannot be thrown away, cannot be ignored. And if you ignore that, you ignore yourself. That's why I said certificates must work. These certificates, if these don't work, there is no meaning of these certificates. And particularly to those professionals who are high class professionals in engineering, because engineering is basics of our life. Engineering has advanced us, engineering has developed us, it is developing us, and safety is a sponsor there. That whatever you do, it should be safe, and if that is safe, your life is safe, your health is safe, and you can say your environment is safe. It's not necessary that you consider only natural environment that you create around your vicinity, in your room you work or somewhere else, you work in factory, you work or you work on sites. A homogeneous environment, harmonious environment is required for work, so that team spirit is built up to achieve goal, a determination is built up, a devotion is created. For that purpose, environment is required. How to deal with others, how to cooperate with others, and how to work in team, how to lead others, and how to lead self. Self, others, both are there. If you lead self, you are certainly capable to lead others. And if you are not proactive, proactive means you have to move yourself. If you are not proactive, you are pro-passive. Well, that's very difficult situation. When I use proactive, I can also say pro-passive. If you are pro-passive, you don't like to work, you want to see others working and you want to pass time. That is very bad situation. Well, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm talking in a way that engineer says you have to work. Engineering says you have to work. And engineering says that work means work. It doesn't mean physical work, it means physical and quality work. Physical work is no work, it is a scrap. If you work physically only without using your mind, without incorporating or without inculcating required factor of quality into that item, that good, that production, it cannot be called production, it cannot be called good, it can't be called engineering product. Because it's void of quality, it's devoid of quality. Every day I talk some minutes quality because I consider quality is soul of product. Just like I have my soul, you have your soul, everybody has soul. That soul is your quality. How do you treat yourself? How do you think? What do you think? What's your procedure of activism? How do you move? How do you say work with others? How can you work alone? And what do you think about quality, quantity? Quantity is more important to you or quality is more important to you? It depends upon your actions, it depends upon your thinking. You want to spoil material or you want to use material. Material spoiling is very easy, don't do anything, don't follow quality and spoil material. Otherwise, if you use quality procedures, quality methods, quality work, then certainly that is excellent one. That can be called professional product. Quality product means professional product. And quality means root of profession. Particularly in engineering, if quality is not considered, product is not engineered product, is just the product to be called some item, some material without any clear definition. Whereas quality requirement says you have to define first, and before defining you have to understand first what you want to achieve and what's best way of quality you want to input in there, because quality also varies in its classes. Quality also varies in its nature. Quality also varies in its components. What do you want to get? What performance do you want? And for that performance, what should the level of quality input in that product? That's most important. Just like quantity varies, similarly, function or description of quality varies. It depends upon you. If this material has some quality, let us say, it doesn't mean other material of different class should have same quality, same, you can say, exponent of quality. It can be different as well. It depends. That's why we say when a student's exam is conducted, all are examined, all students take examination, they are supposed to be equal student, but they are not equal. They never remain equal because of performance reason. Some students studies very well, some does not. Some is efficient, some is not. There is a grading of marks in that system, that from this percentage to this percentage, if you get marks, you will be called qualified or educated or passed one. But every student has different quality, means has a wide range, means one is datum line that you should get minimum this much and maximum you can get what is prescribed. There is no limit. And all, let's say there are 50 students, all 50 will have different marks. Maybe 40 have different mark or 30 have different mark. This doesn't mean they are not a student or they are not examined, they are not being examined or they have passed or not passed. Pass or failure is something else, but what level of pass you have achieved, that's quality you achieved. If you get 95% marks, let us say, you are called good quality student, particularly for that examination. I'm not saying, of course, when you are having good approach, good marks, good results, then there is something in you that because of that you reach to that level. Otherwise, and that good level, that good quality should remain in you, or you can degrade that, it's up to you. If you maintain that, you have to work hard, you have to work whatever you studied, you must have a timetable, you must have study time, you must have fixity, and then you can say, okay, means it's a system you create in yourself. Timetable for student is nothing but system. Means how do you study, how many hours do you study, which subject you study, which is priority subject for you. All these points are considered when a student plans. One student plans, and that student makes or bind itself into that system. It's own created system, or parent may create or teacher may create, but system is created. That's called quality system. In that system you have to study, and also in that system you have to play, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to get up, You have to get ready for school or college and go to school or college and come back. You have to do different system in your classes. Your timetable of classes is decided by your teachers, by your heads, and then you have recess time, you have eating time. All this is called a kind of form of system, which you may say whatever, but it is quality system of quality of performance, how a student performs, how a school performs, and it is very basic elementary requirement. And if you leave it without timetable, without schedule, what you do you do not know. What time it is you do not know. How you have to move you do not know. Only for that to train yourself, to guide yourself, I mean to say, if one has to guide itself means one has to move self-proactively, and people do that. And professionals are particularly in engineering you have to do that, because time is always very important everywhere, at least in profession, if not in a home. Maybe at home you don't value time due to whatever family reasons, or people don't listen to you. Generally it happens in family, you are not valued to that level as you are valued in profession, and that is general criteria for everybody. You may be whatever position having in your office, but at home people will not listen to you. That happens generally, and it's very difficult to chart out time requirements, time plans, time organization, time scheduling. It's very important, but I think at home it may not work. But home condition is different, home circumstances are different. I'm talking of production, I'm talking of work, I'm talking of professional, where you are not alone. On you dependency factors is high, and on those dependents there are so many other factors. You have pressures from all ends, and that must be because you are paid for work. You are not, even if you are an entrepreneur, somebody pays to you. You can say clients pay to you, or your customers pay to you. Directly or indirectly, you are a servant. You are a manufacturer. You are an industrialist. You are a constructor. You are an engineer. Whoever you are, some way or other, if you are in profession, if you are in active life, you have to work for somebody. You have to work for an employer. You are employer. Even if you are employer, you are a worker, because you are working for someone. Even if you are a promoter of a big project, you are delivering that project. You are going to deliver to hundreds of your clients, hundreds of customers. So if you say equation remains same, there is no difference if you are an employer or a promoter or an employee or a very level low class worker in factory machine sites. But nature of individual is very important in every case. Individual is unit of work, unit of, you can say, is kind of non-robotic machine. Individual's performance depends on energy available within the engineer, will available, determination available, and you can say rigidity or flexibility, which coefficient is higher. When you are very rigid, or you can say resistant, and you apply schedule unto you, you say even if I am sick, I have to comply with this, provided I am not very sick, I can tolerate. In that case, you say you are a determined person. I should say, I can't say rigid. Rigidity is a good factor. Sometimes it's maybe beyond your control, but generally you are a determined person. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste anything. You want to move on to your schedule and to achieve your goal, achieve your performance level, and that is called, time organization, time management. Time is very important, remember. On every contract, time is limited, time is defined. Time is never open. Even every daily schedule table says you have to do this study, or you have to attend this class, or you have to attend that class. And class also has some time. No class is unlimited time organized. No school is unlimited time. There is a year, there is a semester, another semester. All this moved by time, and time means relative time, of course, but it applies to you. How long is your life, you don't know, but there is a time limit. So life itself is based on time. Nature is based on time. You are based on time. So quality is also a part of that. If you don't take timely action, you can't achieve quality. There is a process in quality system, and every quality system is different for every product, and you have to take care of that. You have to understand this process, and then based on that process you have to organize your quality system. Quality system is nothing new, we know. I'm not telling you something very extraordinary, but operation is different. Quality organization, quality contemplation, quality controls, and quality charting are different. I'm talking overall quality, I'm talking all in all quality. Quality means a kind of, in Hindi we say kala. Kala means some design you have in natural design, scientifically based designs, and other designs. All that is quality. How can you operate this? Only target is your product should be appreciable. It should perform for purpose which was intended to be achieved, intended to be, you can say, delivered to our consumer. And consumer or customer, we say, must be satisfied. That is very, very, you can say, original requirement. Satisfied means satisfied within certain prescribed limits, within certain restrictions, reservations. Means whatever was expected of that product, that product should perform, and that's called quality. If it performs to requirement, what was expected of it, that clearly indicates that quality control has been made, system control has been effected, and that's where we are working. It's not simply papers would tell us, written papers or recorded papers shall tell us there has been concentration of quality system. Performance would tell. That's only relative. That paperwork which you have conducted, that's only for purpose of audit or purpose of record. That speaks only what happened in limitations. That speaks that yes, people worked that product and other people supervised that, and people, you can say, inspected or audited or examined process. It can only tell that, not more than that. But performance is unlimited. If you find product performs well, you feel okay, fine, I paid to this company, and this company or this organization delivers quality product, then you will say, oh yes, the product is excellent, means I experience well with this product, and that product can be named quality product or professional product. Other name of profession is quality product or professional product. Generally we can use professional word with those acts or those papers which have been based on clear thinking, clear philosophy, clear principles, clear theories, and clear actions or clear prosecution. Or if you define something, what you have to do, and that depends on your all requirements of methods which you have adopted, you will adopt, and it clearly speaks when you are going to do in compliance to this system, in compliance to quality, in compliance to procedures, in compliance to methods, or in compliance to the total requirement. And that's why you can say it's a quality system, it's a professional system, or you may say it's professional document, professional work. When we say professional work, it imports all requirements. It doesn't have anything behind, of course within prescribed limits, specified limits, and in fact specification can be called an explanation of required quality. What actually you require on product for end product, that's called quality. Description of required quality in terms of text or in terms of sketches or in terms of diagrams or in terms of whatever else. You can say material should be as such, or you can say its test results should be as such. Whatever you define professionally, that's called quality. And you can say I have done work, or this work has been performed in compliance to specifications, requirements. We generally say that whatever our specifications or standard specifications or project specifications, or in particular this specifications demanded for this end product, we achieve that. That is what I'm saying. Quality is of top significance Quantity is significant if quality is significant. If you achieve quality and quantity together, that's required. That is very much required. And it says if you do it, the system is intact, quality system works that way. It works not because of its own, it works because you put that requirement into that data, into that process, or even if it is automatism in that system, you provide this information and after processing you get this product. That's important. Generally it happens, but quality is being kept distant from minds. That causes a problem, that generates an issue. Why has it been, though everybody claims it is quality product, but in fact generally these claims are false and fake, because it is sales, you can say sales philosophy, it is marketship or marketing, you can say marketing procedure, that you can misinform people. Misinformation doesn't cost anything. You may appreciate your product yourself. Appreciation comes only when others appreciate it. I'm not saying those who charge money and appreciate, they may be models, they may be film stars. I'm talking of consumer, real consumer, who is not celebrity. I'm not interested in celebrities' advertisements. I am interested in consumers' interest. Consumer who pays money, that consumer has every right to demand quality with whatever quantity that person buys. And that quality is absent, project, or you can say product is absent. If quality is absent, product is rubbish, it's rags. In fact, it is scrap, not even salvage. That's my point. Many times I talked about quality. Maybe you may call his quality phobic, he is quality sick. He only talks about that. Yes, I talk about that because I suffer. I'm not finding that determination, that degree of devotion, that degree of, you can say, objective even among engineers these days. We have no dearth of engineer in our country, Bharat, India. We have more than required engineers in all disciplines. But there is no meaning of those available engineers if those engineers do not work according to quality requirement, or those who cannot define what is quality. We cannot simply say we are doing according to quality because we say that, you accept that. No. Quality says it has to be established, it has to be proven, it has to be recorded what you do. That document or documentation process must justify that you did it. And it's not fabrication, no. It has to be real one. If you just keep record and sign, no, that's not quality. That is token that you did quality. But quality must say, yes, I have it done. And that can be said only by performance of product, use of product, service provided by product. I'm not interested in describing commercial background behind that, because when I go to commercial world, it changes than what beautiful talk we are conducting. This talk is very elementary, because if you start with element, you can reach to mixture. And here is what I'm saying. Basics of quality. I'm not talking about quality system. You know well what is quality system. That quality system is organizational provided in compliance to ISO 9000 or ISO principles or ISO requirements. So you have to comply with that if you want third-party certification for meeting requirements of ISO. That certification can be based on assumptions, or even you can say random checks, quality checks. Means you are following principle. That's not thorough one. It only declares that this company, this group, this party, this organization can follow quality system it has been practicing that system, but that's also not guarantee one. It names that this company complies with requirements, but whether it complies all times, it complies with at certain time or at certain frequency, that point is of importance. If that company, that organization complies with this, means all products deliveries conducted by that company should be according to requirement and according to functions are expected of those products. It should be. And if that doesn't exist, then we cannot say that this product is quality one and these people are following that. That's why I say that safety is first consideration on every activity supported by ergonomics, but quality has to be complied with defined requirements. And if there is no quality, means there is no future, because future demand would force quality, and particularly when system is automated or different kind of advancement in production comes in, without quality function may not be positive. So what I say, think of quality in this way, not in just page way or record way. I'm not interested in record as much as I have interest in practical meeting. And this is engineers that must realize facts requirement of quality. Quality cannot be assumed that we have achieved it. It has to be established by, you can say, explaining or demonstrating your product clearly. You can say development takes time, product development also takes time. It goes on changing, amending, modifying into better world, into better system. And that must happen. But it cannot happen in one day. And why we need experience? Because experience teaches everyone. When we say this is a good organization, we do not simply say that this is good because of its name. We cannot go to brand value, though people go to brand value, but I'm not happy with that assumption, because brand value doesn't mean quality. Yes, it gives quality, that is true. If it gives, brand can be good, can be bad. There are very, you can say many brands at international level and at national level. All those are good. We can't say, at least I can't say. Until I experience their products, I experience their services, I cannot say whatever brand name it is, whatever trade name it is. It's only for me name, nothing else. A reference only. I could say if products delivered, perform at requirement, equal to requirement, or more than requirement. I want at least requirement meeting from these organizations, otherwise there exists no meaning at all. Every time I cannot say same thing. I can only say if we deal in construction, that is very much important part, cost involving part, time involving part, risk involving part, quality involving part, or you can say durability of product involving part, durability or successful longevity of that product. And I can say civil engineering products, civil construction products are very long lasting. Should be. It cannot be a temporary product. Just like other products, if you buy a shirt or pant, or you buy a shoe, or you buy similar commodity, which may not run with you for more than 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, you cannot say that it is durability. That is life of that product. Such consumable items, usable items, for 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, etc. You can't compare them to long-term products like building, structures, every type of structure. You can't say today I use this building, I buy it, and tomorrow I destroy it and make another one. That is impossible. Throughout the world it is impossible. And that's why I say civil engineering product, whatever it is, whatever, if it is constructed one, if it is delivered one, I'm not saying design. And design can be changed anytime, whatever time. I'm talking of product, construction based product, which is very difficult actually. Difficult in a sense, only professionals can do it successfully, but understanding of that is even difficult by others. It's not one page writing or some shirt stitching. It is work that you have to keep in mind. Its existence, life, survival life, maybe 100 years. And you know, a period of 100 years is how long? 200 years. Still we can see ancient products, ancient projects, ancient buildings, structures. Though they are deteriorating due to distress, yet they work. They are monumental, they are archaeological, and that's why they are archaeological, because they are beyond our requirement study, requirement limit. If some building exists for 300 years, of course there is something in that. That's the reason that exists. Maybe strong one, durable material. That is question of research. No other product in engineering world has longevity or durability than we can say for construction. And that's why I say quality is very strong in construction. It should be strong. I'm not saying it is strong. It should be strong. And if it is strong, you can say that's life earning, because building or structure you produce, you develop, that shall stay there for many decades to come. You, until you live, your generation, the next generation, maybe 1 or 2 more generations, shall draw benefit of use out of that product. And that is very important part here. Very, very important part, I can say. Because it all depends on what you think, what time you spent on that, what analysis you made, what's cost on that, and what is risk factors involved. All reliability questions comes in, and analysis is important, then thinking is important, synthesis is important. All these points which are imaginary but practical, these points play their role on production, on operation. If production is good, operation shall also be good, because operation means whatever you produce, you have to operate on that. It may be a processing plant or it may be something else. You have to use that product or that project delivered, now called operational unit. That operational unit or use structure should tell that it is reliable, it is good one, it is professional, or its quality inbuilt. That's what we say. And we can also say quality, if it's not done, it's called non-conformance product, and it is rejected. Certainly it is rejected by itself, because it cannot perform. It would tell itself maybe there are cracks or there are settlements, or it's risky to use. Product itself would deny without speaking that I'm not safe. And this means that product does not conform to specification requirement or quality requirement. Non-conformance means that engineer who was involved with that production, with that you can say construction or manufacturing, was either careless or did not know or was not competent enough, and that person at that time you can say was of no use, was redundant in that organization. So what we say, we must change to meet requirements to achieve intended quality standards for universal recognition of products or goods. Quality requirements check being a must, missing with check, we have to blame ourselves for failure to achieve quality. And when we say, we define engineering, we say engineering means quality, application, and continuous professional achievement. No way exists not to comply with defined or specified quality levels. No way you exist, you can say, not to comply with that, because definition of quality is a must, and that definition requires to be achieved, or else work leads to status of being unsuccessful and to be reperformed. And you know meaning of reperform. When you have to reperform means you have to break what you did and do it again with new material, new input, so which you didn't first go is a waste. So engineering doesn't mean you waste. Job of engineering is, requirement of engineering is that we make optimum use of material, not to waste material but to use material. So if you rework means something has gone waste, material value has gone waste, human resources work on that have gone waste, mechanical power involved has gone waste. So you can see, and time on top of that, time has gone waste. So engineering is that much, you can say, it's the application of quality. It's not uncontrolled, it's controlled one. And now, because in continuation with that, just like we say, we can see that these days in 2021 and 2020, we experienced unknown, and that is called COVID-19. Because it's maybe God's project, nobody knows, we do not know about that. But now, currently, it's project of world. Shall world be able to understand what COVID-19 is and how to handle this? So far, nobody understands. And it is really astonishing that intellectual world, we can say, high level of intellectual world could not understand till now. It's full of secrecies, and every secrecy is revealed every day. Every day, more and more news keep pouring in, and ideas keep pouring in, observations and studies keep pouring in about COVID-19. Its quality is not yet established. It's still sickness. We cannot say that we have solved this. I am not interested in political talks. I am interested in professional talks. COVID-19 is very important part from safety viewpoint. If you don't keep yourself safe, certainly you have to face problems. It's problem for all people of world. It's not problem for one part of world or one nation. This COVID-19 has adversely impacted the whole world. And see what size what structure would it have? What immense size of this unknown secrecy shall be. We can't say. Here we can say everything is not qualitatively defined. Every problem is not defined here. It's around more than 18 months, 19 months, 20 months since this problem has been working around world, which has taken crores of lives. It's part of safety, health and environment that we have to keep ourselves intact with safety, intact with health and intact with the environment. COVID-19 has taught us very well. It has taught whole world that do not be too pride thinking that you are this level. You have to cooperate with people, coordinate with them, and that is very important part of life. Coordination, cooperation. And if you don't do that, what happens you know and I know. We talked yesterday about waste disposal. We talked all waste and recyclable waste, domestic waste, hazardous waste also we talked. I'm just revising, revisiting what we taught yesterday, and we talked of traffic and environment friendly practices. So these are points which were very important. Some points were left, I think, I remember. Dust and emissions. I think we've done this. Source treatment. Environmental control procedures we discuss hazardous waste, reasonable domestic waste, waste storage and disposal controls, all waste. Then we had waste management, spill response material. I think something was left here, right? Environment friendly practices. Dust and emissions, sanitary waste and wastewater, hazardous waste generated on site may include. So I think we should go to although we will start environmental control procedures, we'll take this first, be mild. Let me do something as usual routine. This is little 10 minutes I want to get from you. Do something which is very important for me. I'll go to terrace and it's only 44 minutes, so no problem, I'll come back. God, my mask. I'll be back. Excuse me, no problem. I can't stand my mask, legs. Sorry, gentlemen. Took little time more than expected. So it's 5:05, no problem. Let's move forward and see how it works. I was talking of waste storage was able to be discussed yesterday. Then this was all waste, and we can say reusable material shall be stored in orderly manner. Domestic waste, hazardous waste, sanitary waste and wastewater, dust and emissions. Let's discuss this with table 2. That is category table 2, that is about non-hazardous construction waste, combustible, non-reusable timber and packaging waste, non-combustible concrete, and of course here is, you can say, all waste which include a specific area shall be designated for storage of waste before its disposal of site. Selected site should stand away from water bodies. Drainage decision shall be located hardcore to minimize risk of soil contamination. Containers shall be bundled where necessary. Fire prevention systems and pollution control equipment shall be provided for storage facilities. Where necessary, to prevent fires or release of hazardous materials environment. Storage areas should be made inaccessible to animals and visitors. Storage containers shall be of sufficient size and quantity to contain all solid waste generated between collections. And it's you can say disposal waste shall be transported to designated areas, agreed with local authorities, which is concerned municipality. Disposal of waste shall be delivered to designated area as necessary, supervised by local authorities. Vehicles delivering waste to disposal areas shall be covered where necessary to prevent droppings and root leaking, shifting, or blowing of solid waste from vehicle. Spillages or waste lost from disposal vehicle en route to disposal site shall be promptly cleaned up. Before starting work, safety manager shall confirm that drivers have specialized training related to handling and disposal of cargo. Safety manager shall maintain a working file to record waste being disposed. This shall include date, time, type of waste, approximate volume of waste, and disposal method. Landfill and incineration site shall be periodically inspected. Then it is reusable, recyclable, that's timber, metals, paper. Reusable material shall be stored in an ordinary manner and in an accessible location. Reusable material shall be sent to yard for appropriate recycling. Domestic waste, that is food waste, domestic trash. An adequate number of containers shall be strategically placed over construction areas and temporary facilities. These containers shall be regularly collected and taken to main waste storage area. All food waste shall be properly stored in containers with sealed tops to minimize possibility of vermin infestation. Domestic waste shall be disposed of through municipality facilities. And you come to non-hazardous construction waste, that is combustion, namely non-reusable timber, card, packaging waste, non-combustible, that's concrete, and construction debris and demolition materials shall not be allowed to accumulate such that it presents an environmental health and safety hazard. Inert construction waste shall be segregated into combustible and non-combustible. Flammable substances must be stored away from source of ignition, and combustible waste shall be taken to municipality incineration area. According to UN classification, hazardous waste can be categorized as follows: explosives, gases including toxic and flammable gases, flammable liquids including solvents, flammable solids, oxidizing agents and organic peroxides, toxic and harmful substances including toxic metals, radioactive, corrosives including acids and alkalis, other dangerous substances. And then hazardous waste generated on site may include contaminated land, chemical waste including cleaning fluids, lubricants, paints, dye, coating substances, solvents, corrosion inhibitors, biocides, emulsions, batteries, capacitors, hydrocarbon waste, fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers, these are very important materials. Again I say explosives, gases, including toxics and flammable liquids, including solvents, flammable solids, oxidizing agents and organic peroxides, toxic and harmful substances, including toxic metals, radioactive corrosives, including acids and alkalis, other dangerous substances, and hazardous waste generated on site may include contaminated land, chemical wastes, including cleaning fluids, lubricants, paints, dye, coating substances, solvents, corrosion inhibitors, biocides, emulsions, batteries, capacitors, hydrocarbon waste, fire. Trained official is allocated to guide and control classification, storage, handling, transport, and disposal of waste. Hazardous waste shall be retained in a secure area with an impervious bunded base. Area shall be located away from source of ignition and at least 17 meters away from water bodies and drainage ditches. Different types of hazardous waste shall be stored separately to avoid adverse chemical reactions and facilities eventual treatment. Hazardous waste shall be stored separately from non-hazardous waste. Hazardous waste shall be stored in tightly closed leak-proof containers made of or lined with materials that are compatible with hazardous waste to be stored. Containers shall be clearly marked with appropriate warning labels to accurately describe their contents and detailed safety precautions. Labels shall be waterproof, securely attached and written in local language and English. Wherever possible, chemicals should be kept in original container. Hazardous chemicals shall be stored and handled in accordance with manufacturer's metal safety data sheet (MSDS). Spill prevention measures shall be adhered to. Site safety leader shall register all hazardous waste and disposal methods. Safety data sheets shall be consulted by site leader, HSC leader. Equipment, materials and skills shall be readily available to hazardous waste shall be disposed of into areas so designated by municipality and shall remain segregated and in labeled storage containers. HSC leader shall register all hazardous waste and disposal methods. Safety data sheet shall be consulted by General points about all waste section apply. Incompatible hazardous waste shall not be deported or transported together. And then we can say sanitary waste and waste water and sewage arising from camp. Its treatment, fresh water supply shall be segregated from wastewater in accordance with health requirements of contract documents. No wastewater shall be injected into groundwater. No wastewater shall be allowed for settling silt before allowing. All wastewater shall be allowed for settling silt before allowing to drain to ground. All camp units shall be connected to a sewage main which run through PVC pressure line to a treatment system located adjacent to camp. Treatment system shall be based upon use of an extended aeration activated sludge process with an aeration system and solids separation using settlement, and would consist of twin streams with each adequate capacity. All treated effluent shall gravitate to a chlorine contact tank where chlorination done to achieve a chlorine residual of 0.5 to 1 ppm prior to passing to a designated collection basin located adjacent to camp. I repeat, treatment system shall be based upon use of extended aeration activated sludge process with an aeration system and solid separation using settlement, and would consist of twin stream each with adequate capacity alterated effluent shall gravitate to chlorine contact tank where chlorination done to achieve a chlorine residual of 0.5 to 1 ppm prior to passing to a designated collection basin located adjacent to camp. Facility shall be maintained by EPC contractor to minimize interruption. And then I can say treated effluent water shall be used for irrigation and dust control after it has been analyzed to confirm that it is safe for such intended purposes. Sewage treatment plant shall be erected and made operational during first phase of camp occupancy. And now we go to dust and emissions. Dust and emissions, I can say. Most prevalent construction emission is fugitive dust. Fugitive dust, however, emissions of carbon monoxide, CO, and related exhaust gases are likely to be released from diesel generators and other activities such as on-site painting, refueling of equipment, application of adhesives, waterproofing chemicals, and incomplete combustion of fuel in construction equipment. Note that none of planned activities shall cause release of hydrogen sulfide gas. Dust and emissions must be controlled during construction down to an acceptable level, and to achieve this should be no unnecessary idling of vehicles and machinery. Fuel, paint, and chemical containers shall be kept sealed when not directly in use. All vehicles and construction plant shall be properly maintained to minimize excessive exhaust emission. Where possible, engine shall be located away from work. Let me go up and see how it works. Light problem. Should problem arise, for example, with defective equipment, I'll go up and see how it works. Light has gone and my inverter is not working. So it's a problem here. I go again. That's the problem. The problem with this light. Playing with this light is playing. Just come back again. What to do? Anyway. Fuel, paint, and chemical containers shall be kept sealed when not directly in use. All vehicles and construction plant shall be properly maintained to minimize excessive exhaust emission. Where possible, engine shall be located away from work areas. Should problems arise, for example, with defective equipment, which results in generation of fumes, gases, or odors on site, for which operators shall be instructed through their safety awareness training to shut down and notify respective supervisors to facilitate appropriate mitigation response. Measures can significantly help minimize dust in most cases, with exception of sandstorms. Dust shall be controlled as far as possible, as far as practicable. Control measures can significantly help minimize dust in most cases, with exception of sandstorms. If a severe sandstorm occurs, site leader shall decide whether or not to close site works after dust storm has settled. Roads shall be cleaned. Fugitive dust emission shall be minimized by implementing following controls. Water spraying shall be conducted at a frequency to keep surfaces moist. Treated wastewater or groundwater shall be used for this purpose. All concerned persons shall be required to fully cover with sheeting. All concerned persons shall be required to fully cover with sheeting or spray water on open-bodied trucks hauling sand, gravel or soil between on-site and off-site areas. All transgressions shall be immediately brought to attention of hauler concerned by site manager, site leader, HSE leader. Failure to comply with this requirement shall result in offender prevented from accessing site. If sandblasting operations are required, they shall be located and scheduled so as to minimize noise and dusting effects on adjacent work areas. Excavation phases not being worked shall, if required, be moistened. Excavation phases not being worked shall, if required, be moistened. Formation level shall not be moistened excessively or better avoided. Deliveries of finely grounded materials shall be using bag, form or stockpiled in specified locations where material can be suitably covered. Minimum drop height shall be used during material transfer. Roads around site, particularly at site entrance, shall be monitored on a regular basis, shall be kept as clear from dust and dirt as is practicable. Should it required necessary, road in vicinity of site entrance shall also be swept. Construction personnel shall be required to enter site over prepared surfaces and park in designated lots. Should problem arise which results in excessive dust generation on site, workers shall be instructed through their safety awareness training to notify their supervisor to facilitate appropriate response. This was 23. Hazards control. That is, I think, I should now start with hazards control. It's very, very important one. We are now at hazards control. In the chapter 24. So this is hazards control. I can close this construction. Hazards control. Let's go to hazards first. It's a very important topic. What is hazard? We search something for that. Let's start with something now. There's a list here from some site and I can just blow it up. Here gas control, and here is, you can say, that is the other one I opened. I think pages like this, 14 pages. There's another one that I say here. I can say it's really quality, Also, I say this. So here, let's discuss with this now. Start with this. We are talking of this procedure applies to all project construction site and hazards control. We go to first of all common construction site hazards. This is Ali Coelier. A construction site is whatever piece of land where a building is being built or repaired. That's called construction site. Where a building is done, is built or being repaired or is repaired. I am talking in present past because every writer has different terminology. Those who work on construction sites are often required to use large tools and pieces of machinery, work at height and in environments where hazardous materials are presented. Because of nature of such work, working on construction sites can be dangerous. Now, in this writing in this article, some outline is given regarding common construction hazards. You can say a list of hazards on a construction site, possibly, which you must be aware of being site person, and how to prevent them. Here it is working at height, that's hazard, list of hazards. Working at height, moving objects, slips, trips and falls. Slips, trips and falls, noise, hand-arm vibration syndrome, hand-arm vibration syndrome, and material and manual handling. Collapsing trenches, asbestos, electricity, airborne fibers and materials. Working at height, moving objects, slips, trips and falls, noise, hand-arm vibration system, material and manual handling, collapsing trenches, asbestos, electricity, airborne fibers and materials. Working at height. Health and Safety Executive found that in 2015 and 16, just over a quarter of worker fatalities were from a fall from height. Quarter means 25% fatalities reported from falling from heights. This put working at height as most common cause of fatal injuries to workers. Suitable training is required for all employees who work at height. Employees should be trained in working on different pieces of equipment and surfaces, such as how to work safely on scaffolding, ladders, and ropes. Law requires that all employees must assess risks from working at height. A plan should then be devised to ensure all work is carried out safely. Employee must have received correct training in working at height and must be aware of safety procedures that they should follow when doing work at height. Working at height must be properly planned and supervised, and certain approaches and precautions should be adopted. These are: avoid working at height where possible. For example, if something can be assembled on ground level, it should be done. Use equipment with an extra level of safety to reduce risk of fatal fall. For example, a scaffold with a double guard rail. Minimize consequences of a fall. For example, provide a safety net. Then, high speed training offers a convenient online working at height training course. Sorry. Now, reducing risks should always be a priority. Workers should always avoid working close to moving objects. Be vigilant of their surroundings, especially if object does not have lights or beepers. Wear personal protective equipment such as high visibility jacket to ensure they are seen. Slips, trips and falls. Slips, trips and falls can happen in almost whatever environment, as construction sites often have uneven terrain, buildings at various stages of completion, and unused materials on site. It is unsurprising that slips, trips and falls are a common hazard. Safety reports that several thousand construction workers are injured every year following slip or trip, and that most of these could be avoided by effectively organizing working areas and access routes such as stairwells and footpaths. Those in control of construction sites must effectively manage organized site so that workers are safe. Obstacles. Instances of slipping and tripping over obstacles can be dramatically reduced by everyone keeping their work and storage areas tidy and designating specific areas for waste collection. Trailing cables. Cordless tools should be used where possible. If this is not possible, cables should be run at high levels. Wet or slippery surfaces. If a surface is slippery with mud, it should be treated with stone, and if it is slippery with ice, it should be treated with a grit. Any areas that are slippery should be sign-posted, and footwear with a good grip should be worn. Noise. Construction is noisy, and as a result, noise is a common construction hazard. Loud, repetitive, and excessive noise causes long-term hearing problems such as deafness. Noise can also be dangerous distraction and may distract worker from tasks at hand, which can cause accidents. It's employer's responsibility to carry out a comprehensive noise risk assessment and provide appropriate PPEs where necessary. Construction workers should be given appropriate protection when using vibrating tools, and equipment should be well maintained. Vibratory system it is, and damage from disease can include inability to do fine work, and cold temperatures can trigger painful attacks in fingers. Materials and manual handling. Materials and equipments are constantly being lifted and moved around construction sites, whether this be manually or by equipment. Either way, handling carries a degree of risk. Where duties involve manual handling, adequate training must be provided. If an employee is required to use lifting equipment, they must be trained in how to use this, and that test should be taken to check their ability to use the equipment. There can be unexpected collapse which can seriously injure or even kill those inside. Precautions for collapse need to be taken before work starts. If project requires a trench, site manager should consider kind of support that is best suited for trench. Ensure trench is fully secure. Regularly inspect trench before and during work shifts. Asbestos. Asbestos refers to a set of 6 naturally occurring fibrous minerals. Asbestos refers to a set of 6 naturally occurring fibrous minerals. When materials that contain asbestos are disturbed or damaged, these fibers are released into air. Inhaling these fibers can cause fatal and serious diseases such as lung cancer, asbestos, and pleural thickening. Asbestos kills around 5,000 workers per year, and an average of 20 tradespeople die every week as a result of past exposure. An estimated 500,000 public buildings in UK are thought to contain asbestos. If there is asbestos on construction site, workers must be informed where it is. They must be trained in what to do should they come across suspicious materials that may contain asbestos. It's harmful to be exposed to electrical live parts. Harm can occur either by touching live parts directly or indirectly by a conducting object or material. Airborne fibers and materials. Unsurprisingly, a lot of dust is produced on construction sites. Dust on construction sites is often an invisible fine and toxic mixture of hazardous materials and fibers. This can damage lungs and lead to diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, and silicosis. It's duty of all employers to ensure protective equipment is used. Simply providing it's not enough. So this page is enough. So we know in this page what we did. I'll close this one, and now I'll find other one. This is here. This is here. I can say that let's say construction activities and hazards and controls. Construction industry. Let us widen little, let us widen this scene. Construction industry covers a wide range of activities from large scale civil engineering projects to very small house extensions. Construction industry has approximately thousands of firms, of whom only certain employs than 7 people. Many of these firms are much smaller. Use of subcontractors is very common at all levels of construction industry. It is most likely that everybody shall be aware of, involved with some aspect of construction industry at their place of work, either in terms of repair and modification of existing buildings or a major new engineering project. It's therefore important that health and safety practitioner has some basic knowledge of hazards and health and safety legal requirements associated with construction. Over many years, construction industry has had a poor health and safety records. Over many years, construction industry has had a poor health and safety record. In 1966, there were 292 fatalities in industry, and by 95, this figure had reduced to 62. But 2000 and 2001, the figure had increased to 106. These figures include deaths of members of public, including children playing on construction sites. Most of these fatalities, over 70%, caused by falls from height. At a conference organized by Health and Safety Commission in February 2001, address of problems was noted that at least 2 construction workers are being killed each week. Targets were set to reduce number of fatalities and major injuries by 40%. Due to fragmented nature of industry, its accident and ill health record, recent construction industry legal framework has concentrated on hazards. Associated with industry, welfare issues and need for management and control at all stages of a construction project. In addition to Health and Safety at Work Act 1974 and associated relevant regulations, there are 3 sets of specific construction regulations which provide legal framework: Construction Head Protection Regulation, Construction Design and Management Regulation, Work at Height Regulations. A summary of these given same here. Scope of construction. sorry, what to do. The scope of construction industry is very wide. Most common activity is general building work, which is domestic, commercial, and industrial in nature. This work may be new building work, such as building extension, or more commonly, refurbishment, maintenance, repair of existing building, maintenance or repair of existing buildings, larger civil engineering projects involving road and bridge building, water supply and sewage schemes, and rivers and canal work all come within scope of construction. Work could involve hazardous operations such as demolition or roof work, or contact with hazardous materials such as asbestos or lead. Construction also includes use of woodworking workshops together with woodworking machines, their associated hazards, painting and decorating, use of heavy machines. It will often require work to take place in confined spaces such as excavations and underground chambers. Finally, at whatever given time, there are many young people. There are many young people receiving training on site in various construction trades. These trainees need supervision and structured training programs. Construction hazards and controls. Construction design and maintenance, design and management CDM. Construction design and management CDM regulations deal with many of hazards likely to be found on a building site. In addition to these specific hazards, there will be more general hazards. Working at height, manual handling means working at height, manual handling, electricity, noise, which have been discussed in more details in earlier chapters. Hazards and controls identified in CDM and work at height regulations are as follows. Safe place of work. Safe access to and egress from site and individual places of work on site are fundamental to a good health and safety environment. This clearly requires that all ladders, scaffolds, gangways, stairways, and passenger hoists are safe for use. It further requires that all excavations are fenced, site is tidy, and proper arrangements are in place for storage of materials and disposal of waste. Site needs to be adequately lit and secured against intruders, particularly children. When it's unoccupied, such security will include secure and locked gates with appropriate notices posted. That is, a secure site access, and then you may say, let's go to other one here. Then you can say a secure and undamaged perimeter fence with appropriate notice posted. All ladders either stored securely or boarded access across their lungs. All excavations covered, all mobile plants immobilized and fuel removed, where practicable, and service isolated. Secure storage of all inflammable and hazardous substances. Visits local schools to explain dangerous presence on a construction site. This has been shown to reduce number of child trespassers. If unauthorized, the entry persists, security patrols and closed circuits. Television may need be considered. Work at height. Work at height accounts for about 50-60 deaths, more than whatever other workplace activity, and thousands of injuries each year. This is addressed by introduction of work at height regulations, which apply to all operations carried out at height, not just construction work, so that they are all relevant to, for example, window cleaning, tree surgery, maintenance work at height, and changing street lamps. Work at height regulations affect approximately 3 million workers, where working at heights is essential to their work. Work at height regulations have no minimum height requirement for work at height. They include all work activities where there is a need to control the risk of falling, distance liable to cause personal injury. This is regardless of work equipment being used, duration of work at height involved, or height at then we can say height at which work is performed. It includes access to and egress from place of work. It would therefore include working on a scaffold or from a mobile elevated work platform, sheeting a lorry or dipping a road tanker, working on top of container, a docks, or on a ship or storage area, tree surgery and other forestry work at height, using cradles or rope for access to a building or other structures like a ship under repair, climbing permanent structures like a gantry or telephone pole, working near an excavation area or cellar opening if a person could fall into it and be injured, painting or pasting and erecting bill posters at height, working on staging or trestles, namely for filming or events, using a ladder, step ladder or kick stool for shelf, filling, window cleaning and like, using man riding harness in ship repair, offshore or steeple jack work, working in a mine shaft or chimney, work carried out at a private house by a person employed for purpose, painter or decorator, but not if private individual carries out work on their own home. However, it would not include slips, steps and falls on same level. Falls on permanent stairs if there is no structural or maintenance work being done. Work in upper floor of a multi-story building where there is no risk of falling except separate activities like using a step ladder. At center of regulations, employer is expected to apply a three-stage hierarchy to all work which is to be carried out at height. 3 steps are avoidance of work at height, prevention of workers from falling, and mitigation of effect on workers of fall should they occur. Work is not carried out at height when it is reasonably practicable to carry work out safely other than at height. Namely, assembly of components should be done at ground level. When work is carried out at height, employers shall take suitable and sufficient measures to prevent, so far as is reasonably practicable, any person falling a distance liable to cause injury. Use of guardrails. Work at height regulations, protection against falls from work at height. Work at height regulations require that guards rail on scaffolds are at minimum of 950 mm and maximum unprotected gap between toe and guardrail of a scaffold is 470 mm. This implies use of an intermediate guardrail, although other means such as additional toe board or screening may be used. It also specifies requirements for personal suspension equipment and means of arresting falls such as safety nets. When working at height, a hierarchy of measures should then be followed. To prevent falls from occurring, these measures are avoiding working at height if possible, provisions of a properly constructed working platform complete with toe boards and guardrails. If this is not practicable or where work is short duration, suspension equipment should be used and only when it is impracticable. Collective fall in arrest equipment, airbags or safety nets may be used. Where this is not practicable, individual fall restraint safety harness should be used. Only when none of these measures are practicable should ladder or step ladder be used. Fragile roofs and surfaces, work on or near fragile surfaces is also covered by work at height regulations. Roof work, particularly work on pitched roofs, is hazardous and requires a specific risk assessment and method statement. Prior to commencing work, particular hazards are fragile roofing materials, including those materials which deteriorate and become more brittle with age and exposure to sunlight, exposed edges, unsafe access equipment. I'll take up this later on. Precautions must be taken, so I'll take this as now. Construction activities like this, now I'll take up later on, and now I'm going to close this, for example, because let's see if it can be continued. Because of rain, it's heavy rain outside and it's raining and I don't have, proper precautions. Let's say here, this you can say fragile roof. Proper precautions must always be taken when working on near fragile roof. And falls from girders, ridges or purlins, there must be suitable means of access such as scaffolding, ladders and crawler boards, suitable barriers, guard rails or covers where people work near to fragile materials, and roof lights. Suitable warning signs indicating that a roof is fragile should be on display at ground level. There are other hazards associated with roof work, overhead services and obstructions, presence of asbestos or other hazardous substances, use of equipment such as gas cylinders and bitumen boilers, and manual handling hazards. It's essential that only trained and competent persons are allowed to work on roofs and that they wear footwear having a good grip. It's a good practice to ensure that a person does not work alone on a roof. Protection against falling objects as now are covered by work at height regulations. This is summary. Both construction workers and members of public need be protected from hazards associated with falling objects. Both guards should be protected by use of covered walkways or suitable net. To catch falling debris, waste materials should be brought to ground level by use of chute or ice. Waste should not be thrown and only minimum quantity of building materials should be stored on working platforms. Construction regulations virtually mandates employees to supply head protection to employees wherever there is a risk of head injury from falling objectives. And 6 wearing towels are exempted from this requirement. The employer is also responsible for ensuring that hard hats are properly maintained and replaced when they are damaged in any way. Self-employed workers must supply and maintain their own head protection. Visitors to construction sites should always be supplied with head protection and mandatory head protection. Signs display around site. Demolition is one of most hazardous construction operations and is responsible for more deaths and major injuries than whatever other activity. Management of demolition work is controlled by construction regulations and requires a planning, supervision, health and safety plan. Principal hazards associated with demolition works are fall from height or on same level, falling debris, premature collapse of a structure being demolished, dust and fumes, silting up of drainage system by dust, problem arising from split fuel, oils, manual handling, presence of asbestos and other hazardous substances, noise and vibration from heavy plants and equipment, electric shock, fires and explosions from use of flammable and explosive substances, smoke from burning waste timber, pneumatic drills and power tools, existence of services such as electricity, gas and water, collision with heavy plantation and plant and vehicles overturning. Before whatever work is started, full site investigation must be made by a competent person to determine hazards and associated risks which may affect demolition workers and members of public who may pass close to demolition site. Investigation should cover following topics: construction details of structures or buildings to be demolished and those of neighbors' structures or buildings, presence of asbestos, lead or other hazardous substances, location of whatever underground or overground services, water, electricity, gas, location of underground cellars, stairs, tanks and bunkers, particulars if flammable or explosive substances were previously stored, location of public thoroughfares adjacent to structures or buildings, constructed with the manager or coordinator who is responsible for notifying health and safety executive of proposed demolition work must ensure that the written risk assessment is made of design of structure to be demolished and influence of that design on demolition method proposed. This risk assessment shall normally be made by project designer who shall also plan demolition work. A further assessment should then be made by contractor undertaking demolition. This risk assessment shall be used to draw up a method statement for inclusion in health and safety plan. A written method statement shall be required before demolition takes place. Contents of method statement shall include following: details of method of demolition. So we'll take it later on. And now I'll say, oh my God, what is this? By mistake this down. So this is here. Let's say now it's time now to go. It's rain and rain and rain. So we'll keep it close now.